very watery secretion, but it has some chemicals. Salivary secretion is slightly acidic. Slightly what? Acidic. And that keeps the mouth clean. You know, acid kills the bacteria, right? We know that acids can kill the microorganisms. But if it is strongly acidic, then what will happen? It will burn your tongue, right? You don't want that. So slightly acidic, okay. It cannot burn your tongue, but kill the microorganisms. Make sense? To protect the mouth. Clean the mouth. Moistures and dissolves food chemicals, I have explained, which is very important to taste the food. Aids in bolus formation. In saliva, you have sticky chemical. Okay, sticky. So that stickiness of saliva hold the food pieces together to form the bolus of food. So the food pieces, after you break the food, the pieces will stay together, and that is the bolus of food. And that is very helpful because you can swallow the food bolus easily. Saliva contains enzymes that begin the break of starch, the carbs, carbohydrates. So saliva has the chemicals that helps to carbohydrate digestion, chemical digestion in the mouth. Now, in the mouth, you have salivary secretion that breaks the starch or carbs, okay, carbohydrates, and also another secretion occurs in the mouth that is called lingual lipase. So, remember, saliva has amylase that breaks the starch, and lipase that comes from the tongue, lingual lipase, we say, lingual lipase that breaks what? What do you think? Lipids, right? Lipase, lipid. Its name is telling you. Lipid or fat. So, in your mouth, bottom line is, in your mouth, both amylase and lipase are secreted. Make sense? That means, in your mouth, both carbohydrate and lipid chemical digestion take place. Chemical digestion of carbohydrate and lipid by amylase and lipase. Now, if I ask you, in your mouth, what kind of mechanical digestion of what kind of food? Okay. All right? Because you break everything by pressure in the mouth, right? You don't separate that this is carbohydrate, I won't break it, this is protein, I won't break it. You don't do that, right? So when you break by pressure, you break everything, right? Proteins, carbohydrates, fats. But the secretion breaks what? Lipids and carbs, starch. Make sense? So that is chemical digestion. No chemical digestion of protein takes place in the mouth because no protease, only amylase and lipase. That means carbs and lipids. Because no protein, chemical digestion of protein takes place in that. Okay. Here you see the location of three types of salivary glands. The largest is the parotid. One thing you just notice, which is important, from the salivary glands, I mentioned before, ducts go to the mouth, opens in the mouth to release the saliva into the mouth. Some ducts I showed you in previous picture under the tongue. Those are the ducts of sublingual gland. Okay. Ducts of submandibular gland. So this is for submandibular gland. These are for sublingual gland. And this is for carotid gland, the duct, the green tubes. Now the saliva has two types of cells. Salivary gland has two types of cells, serous and mucus. Serous is watery secretion, thin secretion. Mucus is thick, slippery and sticky. So mucus is slippery and sticky, and serous is thin, water-like secretion. 97 to 99.5% of saliva is water. So highly watery, that I mentioned before. Highly watery secretion. Slightly acidic, I also mentioned that. In saliva, some electrolytes are secreted into the mouth. Sodium, potassium, chlorine, phosphate, and bicarbonate. Okay, so those are the electrolytes. Salivary amylase and lingual lipase that I mentioned here, that those are present in the saliva. So help in carbohydrate and lipid digestion, chemical. Mucin is that slippery, sticky secretion or chemical. Mucin helps in food bolus formation and movement of the bolus. So makes the surface slippery as well as hold the food pieces together to form the bolus. So that is stickiness and slipperiness help in the movement of the food and forming the bolus. Small amount of metabolic wastes are secreted with saliva. Which metabolic wastes? Urea, uric acid. Okay. Small amount. Other chemicals that help to destroy the antigens or microorganisms are lysozyme, immunoglobulin A, immunoglobulin, defenses, and cyanide compound. Okay. These chemicals of your saliva destroy the microorganisms. So you see, saliva has a number of things. Saliva has digestive enzymes, amylase lipase. Saliva has some chemicals that destroy the microorganisms. Saliva has mucin that is slippery and sticky secretion, and saliva has low pH, that means slightly acidic, that cleans the mouth. Teeth. Inside the mouth, you have teeth. In early life, early part of your life, you have 20 deciduous teeth. Okay, deciduous teeth. Between 6 to 24 months of age. Then the deciduous teeth are replaced by 32 permanent teeth. How many? 32. So adults have 32 permanent teeth. So first, you know that we have two dental arches. One arch is in the mandible. This is the arch, right? Arch. Lower dental arch. This is the upper dental arch. So total how many? 32. Total 2 arches, right? Total how many teeth? 32. So each arch has how many? 16. Makes sense? 16. 16. Okay. So This is one arch. You have 16 teeth. Now if I divide the arch into two halves, in each half you have what? 8. Okay? So now we'll see among those 8, because same teeth, 8 in this side, 8 in this side. So you have, if we start from the front, medial side of the front, this is the 2 incisors, 1 canine, that is pointed teeth. Then you have 3 molars, and then molars. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so incisors, canine, molars, molars. Okay, so 8, same 8 in this side. Also in lower arch, you have same way. So 32. Now this is 1/4, right? 8, 1/4 of 32. So in 1/4 you have how many incisors?
2.
2, right? 2. So total how many incisors you have? You multiply by 4, right? 2, 2, 2, 2. Make sense? 8. How many canine you have? 4. Yeah, so 4 total, right? In 1/4 you have 1. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 4, right? So that's how you get 32. So 8, 4, 8, 12. Okay. Incisor teeth have blade-like edge. So the end, free end, is like knife or blade. So cutting or chopping is the main function. It chop or cut the wood. Canine, sharp pointed end. So tearing is the main function of canine. So those animals, they eat the flesh, meat, right? Raw meat. They use the canine more, right? To tear the flesh. So their canine is more pointed and sharp. Premolars and molars, they help in grinding the food. Particularly the molars help to crush the food, because if you see the surface of molar and premolar, it's like this. Okay, so you can grind and crush the food. So those are the important functions of different types of tooth. Parts of a tooth. If you see a tooth, it has 3 parts. The part you can see from outside, that is called the crown. Crown is the part you see from outside. And the part inside the gum or gingiva, this part is called the neck. And the part inside the bone, maxilla and mandibular sockets, that part is called the root part. So you see here, this is the root, this is the neck part, and that is the crown you can see from outside. So those are 3 parts. Now, if you see the structure, those are the parts. Now if you see the structure of a tooth, first let's see the crown part. The outermost layer of the crown is what? What color? White, right? That is called enamel. You know it, right? That's the white outer cover. Very hard. Hardest structure of the body. Then inside part has under the enamel you have dentin. Dentin. Dentin is everywhere. Enamel is only the covering of the crown part. And then innermost part is the pulp cavity, in which you have the pulp, soft tissue, in which you have the blood vessels, nerves. Okay, so enamel, dentin, and pulp in the pulp cavity. Now let's see the root part. Here, you see no enamel in the root, but you have a layer there instead of enamel, that is called cementum. Cementum. Then you have dentin, which is everywhere, and then root canal. Innermost canal-like structure is the root canal. Through the root canal, the blood vessels, nerves, those structures go to the pulp cavity. So, blood vessels, nerves pass through the root canal to enter into the pulp cavity. Okay? So, those are the structures in the crown and the root. Now, around the root, you have a ligament that attaches the root to the bony socket, to the bone. That ligament is called periodontal ligament. Periodontal ligament is the ligament that attaches the root to the bony socket, holds that tooth to the socket. Okay, so periodontal ligament. So those are the parts and structures of the tooth. Let's stop here. So 7 stop, right? So we can talk about next part.